Hey, it's Ashley. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to my channel. You know you want to. It's so easy. Just click below. Today on the Courageous Birth podcast, I have guests Dez Maya and Ginamarie Cornelius. Dez and Ginamarie are the founders of Blissful Fortitude. They are both keynote speakers and hosts of the Bliss Beyond Fear podcast. They draw from their hardships and expertise as they mentor others to take action and believe in themselves, to help people go from feeling helpless to whole. I am here with my friends Dez and Ginamarie. We are all part of Brand Builders Group. We have just met through that virtually. And so I'm so excited because they both have such amazing stories to share and are just dynamic people. And automatically there's an instant connection because we all three love unicorns.
We even brought them to the
Hey.
interview.
See, I thought I loved unicorns, and now I'm realizing that I have a ways to go. Like, y'all are just next level, and I feel like I am just letting down all the unicorns in this world, which do exist, people.
They do
And I mean, because Cher, what are the names of your spirit animal unicorn names?
So mine is Fantasia.
And mine
Love
is
it.
Pixie. Pixie's a little loopy, just like me.
And they match our personalities. So Pixie's
usually like leaning.
Yeah. Pixie is often she's just a little bit, in a really special way.
Yeah,
in
like
the best
me.
way. Yeah, that's right. And we travel with them too. So when they go places, they come with us and they go in our bags. And that's why they're a little weathered. But that gives them character.
Mm-hmm.
And did y'all realize this common love for unicorns early in your friendship, or was that later?
Well, would you like to hear the story?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was back when I was dating. There is a video called The Crazy
Hot
Matrix.
Yes.
Okay, you can YouTube it.
I saw this. Yes. Continue to explain it. Yes.
And so I was talking to this man. He was very sweet, and he said, "You are so beautiful. You are, so this and so that." And I said, "I'm crazy. Just so that you know, I'm crazy." And he goes, "No, you're a unicorn." And that came out of nowhere. And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You don't know what I'm talking about?" And I said, "No." So I watched the video. Your listeners will have to pop over and go to YouTube and research that. But I took that as such a huge compliment. So for me, I'm not really big into unicorns. I'm a little more partial to Pixie and my little travel. I have a little travel one. This is not Pixie. This one is bubblegum. But this is a reminder of my uniqueness, of just being 2% of the world. And so for me, this literally was, a visual image of getting through hard times. Like I would
got this.
I would go, "No, I'm a unicorn," and I bring it back,
And she
that's
pets
why
it.
Pixie is matted.
Mhm.
Pixie's like, it's like dirty, and she's been washed several times, and so I'm just like, I've got this. I'm a unicorn. So yeah, it was my emotional support animal more than my spirit animal.
I support all of that.
Yeah. Well, and then, as we got together and we just talked about the chemistry, the energy that we have, and that sensation of building a tribe, unicorns just became a symbolic for us. So we do get them for our ambassadors, our Blissful Fortitude ambassadors. And it's a lot of fun, for us to not take things too seriously and realize that there really is magic in all of the noise that's in the world.
And do you know what they call, how you have a herd of
Cattle.
Yeah.
Do you know what a bunch of unicorns are?
No.
A blessing.
Stop it.
Stop.
Honest.
So yeah, it's a blessing. So that's what we call our group, like our tribe.
Doesn't
our
get any
blessing,
better
the
than that.
blessings, which is like so symbolic of who they are to us, for sure.
Just when
love
I
it.
thought unicorns couldn't get any better,
I
y'all just
know.
dropped this knowledge on me.
I'm
Right?
just saying. It's a real thing.
You're welcome.
Oh my goodness. And y'all met through a mutual friend a couple years ago when y'all were both going through some hard times. Can you share what those different hardships were for each of you guys and just kind of paint a picture of what that was like?
Absolutely. Yeah, so actually, this is really funny. We met on Gina Marie's birthday. So
Uh-uh.
our friend invited me to this event that was at the vineyard that Gina Marie was working at. It was 80s night. So that was awesome. And then, so we met then, and then we really got connected on a New Year's Eve when Jean Marie was going to do vision boarding. And then we ended up just staying up all night and talking about life and every which direction. And through our conversation, recognized some of the traumas that we had gone through. And so my story is that I've gone through some relationship challenges when I was younger, and I had my very first relationship Cinderella story. I met my first husband when I was 15. And when 10 years later, I just believed in the magic of love, and I still do today, but it was jolted a little bit because we had some struggles. We had some challenges. He struggled with alcoholism. We had infidelity in our marriage. There were just really tough things that I always sort of thought, oh, I know that happens, but that doesn't happen to me. That happens to other people, and I really feel sad for them. And then when something happens to you, you're like, oh my gosh, nobody's exempt, from these hardships in life. And when I went through that, I just went down in the dumps, really, really just got down on myself and blamed myself for everything that was going bad. And then as I moved forward, in relationships, that's always just been in the back of my mind that they might fail, and I'm afraid and I'm scared. And I think it's taken just a lot, I think, of lessons for me to understand that you're not your past story. And there's just going to be a lot of curveballs that get thrown at you. And despite not having the best experience, I've decided to take what I've learned from that and all the wonderful lessons and not look at it as it's a bad thing, because I definitely believe that life is what happens for you. It happens for you and not to you. So that's kind of my trauma that I shared with Jean Marie when we met.
And
Yeah.
for me, I'm a mom of 8 daughters. And my husband and I were together for 32 years. So all of them are from him. And he passed away. And when he passed away, there's so many dynamics to
Mm.
all of that. I was a stay-at-home mom. Now all of a sudden I've got to figure out how to take care of everybody. A lot of them were on their own. But it was overwhelming emotionally and on so many different levels. One of the dynamics of that was he and I were very connected in the church, and we did couples things all the time. Now all of a sudden there's so much loss. I've now lost that identity of myself, and then now reinventing myself. And I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any single friends. I was a married woman for years. Like, you just kind of gravitate, my watering hole where we all would go would be similar things that married women would go to, and that was my connection. So all of a sudden I had that, and I felt a lot of judgment, a lot of with me having a positive attitude about it and tackling it head on, and not wearing black for days, and ceremoniously doing a lot of things, or not getting out of bed or anything. I rallied quickly, and I was judged for that. I was judged for me wanting to have another relationship with another man. I was judged, I was feeling a lot of this. And so when I met, Donna introduced me to the group of women that were all single women, and they were just, I'll never forget, like, the night that we had met at the vineyard. The next day I was going to be moving stuff by myself. I didn't like to ask the kids for anything, and I had to move a storage unit with my I had a scrapbooking retreat business that I had stuff in, and I needed to move it, and I was going to do it all by myself. And These women are like, we got you, girl. They showed up on a Saturday morning with their hats on and Starbucks in hand and their athletic gear, and we nailed it. We moved every single thing over. And going through that time, I didn't do it alone. I had a lot of people rally around me. My church helped me in a lot of ways, but this was just such a special way to find these women that were so supportive and so loving and so encouraging, and we're all in the same place. And then to take that a step further, where I really felt connected with Desiree was just how when we came together and we had challenges, um, the way that we would help each other process those challenges were on another level. It was just so wonderful to not have somebody go, well, you know what you need to do is you just need to cut him off, or you need, or, but really kind of, ask me how I'm feeling. And we counseled each other. And when you're doing that in the right way, that's really productive. I'm going to say that all boldly. It's with non-judgment. And I felt unconditionally loved. I felt so connected. And it was very interesting because as a Christian woman, I was really being judged a lot. And in the self-development realm, there's a lot of, in the universe says, which goes against, some Christians, rubs them the wrong way. And I think to myself that I really, through Desiree, learned really how to love in the way that I feel Jesus. I don't think we're called to judge, and we're called to love. And I have felt that with Desiree. She has loved me so much. And we have this beautiful difference of a life. She's a little bit younger than me, a couple years. She's like old enough to be one of my daughters. And so, she doesn't have kids. I have kids. I come from a more conservative background. She has more, not, I wouldn't say totally liberal, but more of a liberal, and we're different, she's got tattoos. I don't like there's just a lot of differences between the two of us, and it doesn't matter. We love each other unconditionally, and we want to build each other up. We want to build others up, and we want to, do better every day for ourselves. She is the best business partner in the whole entire world. And so we came together and we realized that this is a special relationship, and we want more women to have that kind of relationship, to have the confidence with ourselves. I'm confident with my relationship with Jesus Christ. I don't, that is not, and when you are confident with that, you don't worry about how everybody else's is, you just go do your thing and love. And my opinion is God will take care of the rest.
It's amazing.
Not my monkey, not my circus. That's for him. I'm called to love. I'm not called to change.
Oh, well, I love that. I heard someone say a year ago or something about how women so often we tear each other down more than we build each other up. How someone might mention someone, they're like, I don't know, I don't know why I don't like that person. I just don't have a good feeling about them. Like there's not even a good reason. And so I just love how you guys are committed to the complete opposite of that, and your friendship demonstrates that. And y'all have unfortunately both experienced other people trying to tear you down in some ways, whether it was, hopefully not intentional, or they didn't realize what their actions were causing, but it doesn't change the fact that it still hurt and it felt that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that you both were kind of talking about how other people were receiving that information. Like, I'm really big about that. Some people, they might be trying to help, but they don't realize how what they're saying is just some of the worst things you could say to someone. And again, I hope that most of it isn't coming from a bad place. Sometimes it is, but I personally love to learn about what are things I can do to make sure I don't say something that would cause harm out of ignorance. And I also like to then, things that I've gone through, share that with people like, hey, don't ever say this to someone. So what are some things for both of y'all if something comes to mind like, hey, never say this to someone going through a divorce or never say this to someone who has lost a husband?
Yeah. And I love that you said what you just said, which is I really don't think people have bad intentions. So the first thing I think of is I receive things in a way where that is my going in thought. Is I hope someone's coming from a good place. They're not trying to intentionally do something. And I think it's more of you just don't know what you don't know. And one of the most one of the things I think people do is they assume an outcome for you that you may not agree with, and then it just makes it awkward. So if somebody is going through a divorce, when they say something like, well, can't you just work it out? Can't you just get back together? Like, isn't love enough? There's probably just a lot of context and things that they don't know that you might feel uncomfortable explaining if maybe you don't know that person very well. So I think it's better, and it could depend on the closeness of the relationship, to say something like, what can I do to support you? How are you feeling today? And it's not assuming anything. I think it's always a person's choice whether they work something out or they walk away. I think that's just a conclusion they have to draw for themselves, and they'll welcome input. But I think if you're truly being non-judgmental, you want to be there for the person and ask more open-ended questions,
Mm.
and not try to do, well, this is what I
Give
think you
them
should do.
direction.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'm going to be real practical because I think
Yeah.
this is huge. Because I wish I had a nickel for every time I heard this. Um, when people find out that you've lost somebody, they say, "I'm sorry." Okay, it's a natural reaction. I'm sorry, and how are you doing? Those two things. Now, totally goodwill intentions. Well, of course you're going to say you're sorry. The thing is that when somebody says I'm sorry, you don't know what to say. Thank you. Um, it usually stops me mid sentence. Like I usually
Mm.
go, okay, well, the reason why this happened is because 3 years ago my husband passed away. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. You know what I mean? But it's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that, or I'm sorry that that happened to you, or even better, like you said, honestly, I have no idea what you're going through. How can I help?
Mm.
That is sweet. The other thing is when somebody says when you've lost somebody and they say, "How are you doing?" I had 8 kids. How are the kids doing? I'm all that's an hour by hour, child per child, you know, question I can answer 100 different ways in any given moment. I mean, it's just so much, right? But I understood that they were saying it because they're concerned, like that, and it's genuine. So the thing that was more helpful was when somebody said, how's everybody processing it overall?
Mm.
Overall, how's everybody
Mhm.
processing it overall? Overall, my girls, honestly, they're doing really good. Their faith is strong and they have each other. It's hard, but they are strong.
And I know that everyone deals with healing different ways. What works for one person isn't going to work necessarily for the other person. But if you could each pack a figurative survival bag for someone that is going through divorce or going through the loss of a husband, what are some things that maybe were just very helpful to you that you were like, I would pack these things in that bag?
You have to have a Desiree.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, that vulnerability of having people around you that do support you, that allow you to be you. I think the biggest thing when you're
Mm,
going through something difficult, anything that is you could put in the category of a trauma, is that you don't have to put on a face. You could be exactly who you are and have those bad moments where you're just crying and you don't need an explanation. This is just the way you feel in the moment, and it's a shoulder to lean on, or it's someone to go do something with because you're like, oh, I'm in a funk. I just want to get out of this. Do you want to go get some ice cream, or can we go grab a coffee and just get out of here because I'm too, boxed in or something. So having supportive people, I think, is huge, is one thing I would say. And one thing that helped me, and I find myself coming back to this, and there's seasons of it, but I tend to do it in times where there's hardship, is journaling. It's something that is a reflective process. So it doesn't need to be all the time, but I've found in going back to what I wrote, there was a lot of darkness, but it was my way of getting to the light of like, and I would read back what I wrote and read things like, I just want to cry in a ball on the floor. This is horrible. I wouldn't wish this on anyone, things like that. And then
Yeah.
look back and go, oh my gosh, I am so strong. That was a moment in time. It was a moment that I appreciate for the strength that it's actually given me, but it was almost like a cathartic thing. So
Yeah.
that's another thing, because you could do, I think the supportive part is good, but then I think the self-growth and self-reflection is an important thing too. And that was kind of my solo
Well, and
activity.
where things are measured, they're
Yeah.
managed. So when when your emotions are unmanageable,
Mm.
that's a great way to measure it so that you can manage it. And like you said, reflect back and go, I've had hard times before. I got this.
Yep.
I got
Yeah.
this.
Mm-hmm.
No, and I think it's great to see how far you have come when you're able to reflect back on those. I'm a huge journaler also. I also have a pact with one of my friends that if I, die, like she has to come and burn them all because they're not for other people
Oh,
to
right.
read.
Yeah, that's
Not
a
that I think
thing.
someone wants to publish my journals, but still.
That's what my children have told me about them. They're like, we have journals. Mom, you have to burn these. Don't ever look at. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh God, they'll probably scream when they burn them. But yeah, I would say that a little thing to put in your bag is definitely support. If you don't have support, be support.
Mm.
Because taking your eyes off of yourself and putting them on somebody else will pull wonderful people to you. And also, I would say that taking care of yourself. I think a lot of times when you're grieving, it's easy to just, lay down and eat the, ice cream and just, wallow in it. But, forcing yourself to do things that you don't want to do. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to do this, and you will feel better. Those actions of doing things you really don't want to do, taking care of yourself, is a big thing,
Yeah,
to
self-care.
get you through
Yeah.
grief. And for me, honestly, the unicorn was huge. It was a tangible image. A vision board could be it. A message on your phone reminding you. Like an alarm going off on your phone. There's, just having visual things that come up that remind you that it's going to be better days, and speaking it out loud. I would on the way to work be totally lost and be like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. What the heck is going to happen? But I would, pat Pixie and I'd be going, I am awesome. I got this. I'm influential. I'm 2%. I'm amazing. And for me, like I was so excited about another relationship. That was a big thing for me. And so I would say, there is a man out there that is looking for me. I am going to light up his world. I am going to decorate it like nobody else. I'm amazing. I'm loyal. I'm sexy. I'm strong. And this was when I was homeless, because when my husband passed away, we were in the middle of packing for a foreclosure. And I didn't know where we were going to go. He was in debt to his employers. We were $69,000 in debt on credit cards, all of this. And that was not, which was true, but that was not the truth that I chose to believe. In my bag, a survival kit, I threw in there affirmations, speak out loud, enthusiastically, until I just pulled that stuff to me.
perception and mindset is so important because you can paint two very completely different stories, and ones that can take you to a very bad place and others that can take you to a very good
Yeah,
place.
and really quickly. And the last tidbit I would add on here is self-development. It's huge. When things that are difficult happen to you, it is a perfect time for reinvention. Because like Jean Marie said, when you're in a relationship for a long period of time, regardless of how it ends, if it ends from a breakup or from a passing, it's something that is a pivot point. You're in some ways defined, or your identity is connected to another person, and you have to now say, okay, well, where am I at? What do I even like? Like, what is my identity? What I want that to look like? And so doing things like reading or listening to books, finding podcasts that just
What are
kind
your
of,
passions?
yeah,
Bring them. It's a great time to bring out those passions again.
yeah, and it's in exploring that, I think, is such a beautiful thing. So it's okay to go inward and do that diving into yourself, and you'll be surprised to
Yeah.
discover, I think, a lot more gold than you might
Mm-hmm.
imagine.
Mm-hmm.
What were some passions for each of y'all that either were new that came out of that or that y'all rediscovered?
Dancing. Yeah. So
I thought you were gonna say
I've always danced. I grew up as a hula dancer. I grew up in the Polynesian culture. So I danced hula, I danced Tahitian. I love hip hop dancing and just like all the shows that you watch on TV, like So You Think You Can
Oh, me
Dance. And
too. Me too.
yeah. And like Step Up and,
Yep.
all those dancing movies where there's romance stories and stuff like
Yep.
that. Channing Tatum is helpful in those movies.
Very
Just
helpful.
saying.
Just saying.
And so I was like, oh my gosh. Jean Marie's like, they do Zumba at the gym, Des. Like, because I bought another house at the time, and I was in a new neighborhood, and the gym was right down the street, and I had to switch gyms. And I'm like, oh yeah, that seems kind of cool. Man, about a weekend, I'm in the front row. I'm like, let's do
She's up there
this.
teaching it
Okay.
now.
I
Yep.
will learn all the songs. I will do all of it. I will do it in my bathroom by myself each morning. And
we will plan all of our meetings around Zumba.
yeah, I was like, oh, we can't meet then. And Gina Marie and I share a calendar because we like to coordinate. And I would put Zumba, like, we're not going to meet. That's just off limits.
Yep.
That is like a
Yep.
sacred time. So don't try to, have us do interviews and other things during that time. So yeah, definitely for me, dancing, it was just like really fun and a great way to also stay in shape.
Yeah.
When I reinvented myself, I discovered 3 passions that I didn't know anything about. One of them was wine, because I
Yes. I love
started
that.
working at a vineyard. So the culture of it, and how, there's so much beauty in the vineyard. There really is. When you have, tending to it and growing it, and even the things that the environment that it's in shape every bottle in a different way. That same varietal is different every year depending on how much rain. It tells a story. If we've had smoke, there's going to be like a smokier flavor that will come out in it. It shapes and molds this beautiful product. And I just loved that. I loved learning about all of that, and how there are so many parallels in the vineyard. That's so beautiful. So that was something that I discovered that was not a passion of mine, but became a passion. And then sales. I love sales. I absolutely love sales. And I realized I was really good at it. Being able to help people, the creativity of being able to help people get what they want. And whether that was at our venue, or, you really would be better fit for this venue, because honestly, here we're going to have this, and that, but over there they have that and this, or whatever, being honest in that way and helping people. And then that would come back around when they needed what I had that did suit them, instead of fitting them into what I had for the sake of the sale. And then also marketing. Like, I loved, I used to be a scrapbooker, and I don't get to scrapbook now. But now I get to, take beautiful images and take the creativity that I have about with feeling and emotion, and put them in images in a different way, not in a tangible, tactile way, but in, through our branding and everything. And then
Yeah.
of course we have Desiree spell check them.
We have our lanes. Yeah.
Because that's not my lane.
She's excellent
No.
with creative images and color schemes and palettes, and I can spell well. So
there's some things that I just don't even see. I don't even see. Like,
I'm the
I
same
would
way.
obviously I know how to spell the word you, Y-O-U, but then I would like forget the O, and then go to print, and she'd be like, hold on, like you forgot, or like I just don't even see it. I just don't even see it.
Yeah.
So
No, one of my friends reached out to me one time. She's like, "Do you want me to tell you when you've posted something that has a misspelling in it?"
and not do it publicly, like in a comment that everybody can read. Maybe in a private message or a text.
Exactly.
So I have two spell checkers in my life. I have Desiree and I have Melanie. And so whenever I do anything big, I'll text it to Mel and go, is this right? She's like, hold on. Try this,
Before you print 500 copies of that.
One time I did a posting that was, oh gosh, it was something versus something, like good versus bad or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I spelt verses like the scripture verses, not like as opposed to,
It's close.
Melanie's all, that thing.
Well, and there's moments where it matters and there's moments where it kind of doesn't. On our launch party for our podcast, we go to print the invitations, to come to our party. It's going to be the best event of the year, and or not, because you can't find it.
Because that address doesn't exist.
It wasn't
Ginamarie.
She transposed the numbers.
3105. It's 3501.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of dyslexia. Today on our Zoom, Wes and I were having my man and I were doing a meeting, and I sent the Zoom link and I spelt his name Welesy. I transposed the S and the L. I know there's an L and there's an S.
That's
in
just
there.
your cute name for him. That's what. I don't know how
Does
you
it really
pronounce
matter
that,
what
but
order they go in?
Or not.
he knew who you were talking about. So.
Right. Yeah. So her passion isn't spelling.
Nope.
But that's okay.
Words with friends would be her.
Yeah, she has other passions. But, as long as you find them and stick with the things that you enjoy and you're good at, then you're fine.
Stay in your lane.
Exactly.
You'll be fine.
Exactly.
Be you.
Exactly.
Be you. So I am just boldly me with all of my decorating, and then she just comes over and tightens it all up.
Tightens it up.
There you go.
Just makes it look great.
That's right. We're a team.
Well, I have one more question just about kind of past stuff, and then I can't wait to get into more and what everything you are doing. And just, I always love to talk about how people view the idea of the healing journey. I think for me, I don't ever see the goal for someone to be like 100% healed, because I don't even know what that really looks like. And I feel like when someone expects to be 100% healed from something, they think that they're never going to have a bad day from whatever they've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I've always seen it more as a point of working through things, living life, growing in all these different ways and healing to the point where it isn't something that constantly holds you down. Like, you get to a point where you feel like you can truly breathe again. And yes, you're gonna have bad days and bad moments, but they're not, that that's not your only reality.
Mm-hmm.
So I just always love to hear what other people's thoughts are and how they view healing.
Yeah.
I think that the first thing that comes to my mind is, I think it's the difference between having regret and remorse.
Mm.
When you have, I don't love, that my husband passed away, and that, my children are without a earthly father. And that's not something that I celebrate. But I have a second chance at love. I met an amazing man, and I am in a whole new life with a whole new chapter with so many beautiful things in store of me for me. You know, I have remorse about things that I have done. And I love that because it keeps you humble. And I think that that's good so that you don't make any mistakes. But that shaped and molded who I am. It helps me to relate to other people. It helps me to if I didn't have any remorse at all, I'd be a serial killer. You know what I mean? Like it's good to have that kind of perspective when we're talking about healing. Like, sometimes, there's been things that I've had to heal from that have been my own freaking fault. And I have caused pain to myself and others that, I need to heal from and let go of, and it shaped and molded me. And so, to be able to embrace that versus and make it functional. Like to me, remorse can be, I like feeling that pain. Like I like feeling that because it's not something, how do I explain this? It makes me human. I'm human, and I just think it's so beautiful to be humbled, and um and so for that I embrace it. I embrace my pain with my husband. I embrace the fear of everything that we've got. I mean, we've got some huge things ahead of us, and it scares the heck out of me. And I'm like, yes, let's get on this roller coaster. Embracing all of those emotions, not just the good emotions, but the bad emotions too. To me, is a huge part of healing, because you're right. That's not going to go away. That's always going to be there. But, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It
Yeah.
happens, for
For
you,
us. Yeah.
not to you.
And I would say, related to healing, and I, Ginamarie says this a lot, is when you turn your pain into your purpose. And for me, my confidence has been shot down 1,000 times. And our mission in Blissful Fortitude is to be able to help people with confidence. And part of that comes from a place of the fact that we know what it's like not to have it. And so for me, that healing is an ongoing process because we are doing it right alongside people. Because we're helping people doesn't mean that we're just omnipotent. We're living on, some sort of golden staircase on a pedestal, that we just don't ever go through those things. It's because we've gone through those things that we have a special connection when people are going through it too. And it's a reminder, kind of like you said with, what you described, is that you are human. It's going to resurface, but because you've gone through it and you know how to get to the other side, you can continue to do that, because life often is cyclical. We have highs, we have lows, and that's a forever journey. It's forever that kind of thing. So I think the healing process is being okay to not run away from those things that you've struggled with, but actually lean into it and use it for a purpose, use it for good, and channel it toward making a difference for other people, because then it gives you more power.
And you mentioned Blissful Fortitude. So share more about the business y'all have created, who y'all help, how y'all help, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so it's really funny. In the summer last year, Jean Marie and I were sitting by the pool at our friend Cindy's house, and we're really feeding off this energy that we were describing in the beginning of the episode between each other. And we were just like, I said to her, want to start a podcast? She had no hesitation to say yes. And we both had no earthly clue
No way,
what
no
we
clue.
were doing. We are not technical people. We always have other people who do the things that are in that lane. And but we had a message. And the reason we partnered with brand builders was to crystallize and solidify that message. But it really is to help women to build their confidence, embrace their worth, and find their joy. And if it wasn't for brand builders, it might not be that eloquent. And so we're very grateful to them for that. But it started with a dream. It started with writing it down. So I highly recommend, when you manifest things, write it down. And then just, couple months later, Lewis Howes was having his Summit of Greatness event. And it was like 2 weeks from when it was going to happen. And I'm like, I'm going. I didn't really even think about it, just bought the tickets, bought all the things. I told her about it when we were leaving the gym one day, and she's like, not without me. You're not doing all that. And so, 3 weeks later, 21 days after we left the Summit of Greatness, we had a podcast manager. We had linked up with brand builders through different people at the event. It was all just such a whirlwind.
We were filed as an LLC.
Yeah.
We had a business plan, and
Yeah, because we wrote a business plan on the plane ride. And thank goodness we were sitting next to like a wonderful person that put up with all of our shenanigans in our row, and we were just on such a high, and we had so much fire and so much momentum. What we had as a seedling of an idea turned into now, what we're offering, which is one-on-one coaching, a success circle, which is a mastermind that's going to help people take their confidence and their self-worth and their joy to the next level. And we're coming out with an online course.
Yes, we wrote it, and we're getting ready to film next week. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
We're so excited to be able to help women. It's something that is definitely a passion of ours. And literally, we have had maybe 5 days off in a year because we're either she's got the baton and she's going, or I've got the baton and I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
And through the pandemic, I mean, it didn't slow us down at all. At all.
No, not at all. I think if anything, it pushed us further to go, you know what, this is an opportunity. People are out there and they are struggling with this, and it is our service and our mission to help people, because I tell you what, if mental health issues and all of the types of challenges that are faced during this time when people are struggling with small businesses and everything like that, we want to bring more to the table during this time to say, this is now a time more than ever that your confidence matters and that your worth matters, because in the hardest times, even during a pandemic, even during crazy presidential election season, you can have that solid foundation, and we want to be the partners that help you with that. So we got real clear on that, and we're like, we're not slowing down.
Nope. Nope. Yeah, it's been phenomenal. We are just so passionate about it. It's been really cool.
Well, I love all the different ways that you are bringing that message to people through the podcast, through one-on-one coaching, the success circle, and then the online course. And so that whatever is the best method for each person, that you to have a way for them to interact with that.
Exactly. We got something for everyone.
That's
And
right.
we know how important that is, we've been in that place where maybe, I want some assistance, but I really can't go to a level that it just doesn't fit my lifestyle or my budget right now. And we've been in places where we're like, we want to go all in,
Mhm.
we all have those different seasons, and we want to just be able to partner with people in a way where wherever season you're in, we can meet you where you
Meet
are.
them where they are. Yep.
What is a message or mindset you could give to someone listening right now trying to figure out how to persevere through adversity?
You got this, girl.
Yeah. And you're not your past story. You embrace your uniqueness because it is who you are that is so special. And this sometimes rings in my head because this is a great Ginamarie ism, is she always says, you are wonderfully made. And when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, we all are.
We are.
And in an age where comparison has become the thief of joy, because of social media, which I think can be so awesome in a million ways, but then kind of not awesome in other ways. I think we have to embrace that message even more because it can feel defeating when you're like, oh, that person is doing better. Oh gosh, they're doing this and I'm so behind. Or, it's something that's so in your face a lot more that didn't even exist. You wouldn't know what so and so down the street was doing because they were just doing what they're doing, and you're doing what you're doing. And now it's just like, everything. And so we have to get a grip, on that and be able to celebrate other people while also staying focused on yourself and what makes
Right.
sense for you. And that's why I think people are going to recognize the power more of self-development now more than ever because of these things, how it's exacerbated in every app that ever existed. There's something putting something in front of you saying
Wow.
like, oh,
Yeah. And I would say God's grace falls fresh on me every day. I just love saying that. Every day is a new day. You don't have to be great to start something, but you got to start to be great. And and every day is an opportunity to do that. And so that would be my little tidbit.
yeah. Progress, not perfection.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard. But
Oh, I love there's so many good nuggets and everything y'all just said. Well, where can people connect with you guys, find you online, and start working with you?
yeah, we make it really easy because we like consistency in the name of
Yes.
things. So you can find our website at blissfulfortitude.com. Our Instagram handle is blissful fortitude.
blissfulfortitude.com or
Yeah,
not
or
dot com.
blissful fortitude. And we're on Facebook. We have a group. It's a Blissful Fortitude Circle, and people can join that. And we do daily inspiration in there. And we have a phone number.
Yes.
You can actually call us and ask us a question, or just leave us a comment if you want. It's 1-833-MY-BLISS, which is
Nice.
1-833-692-5477. So you can even talk to us.
I love
Yeah,
it. And I'll
yeah.
include all of that information in the show notes so it's easy for people to
And
find
then, of course,
connect with you
on our
guys.
website, you can schedule a call with
Yes,
us
so
too.
you
Blissful
can
Fortitude.
you
Yeah,
can schedule
yeah.
a free design call with
Mhm,
us on
mhm.
there, and we can just talk with you and see if there's anything that we've got that can help you. But we love people to sign up there because that's how they can get our weekly updates of things that are going on with us. So we'd love you to just come and do that. Get the free stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. And I've listened to y'all's podcast. I love it. So anyone that's listening right now, like if you've enjoyed this, you'll also just love hearing them talk together on their podcast. So definitely go check that out.
Yes, and
Thanks.
that is called Bliss Beyond Fear, and it is on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher and Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. So we would love for you to come join us there
Yeah.
and laugh probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
So we
feels like
got
we're
a
hanging out
lot
with
going
girlfriends, so
on.
it's a great thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you need just a little entertainment for your day, even if
Yeah,
it's a short commute, then
right.
you can join us for that in the car or something.
Oh, well, and the question I love to ask every guest in the end is what is one of your favorite things about you and how do you live that out in the world? Because I think as y'all's expressed as well, like as women, sometimes we don't recognize the things in us. So I'm just trying to help people do that. And so this will not be a problem for y'all at all because I
Okay.
feel like y'all
What
are
are you
masters at
gonna
this.
say?
Okay, so I'm gonna say two things because one is just kind of fun and unique about me, and the other thing is really truly a genuine thing as well. Well, so one is that
Hold on. I want to write this down because I think I'm gonna know what you're gonna say. Let me see.
oh, you're gonna see?
I
This
know.
could be
Oh my
like
gosh,
it's
that's
like the dating couple
hilarious.
game. Like y'all should
It's
each
like a
write down what you
game.
think
Okay,
the
go
other
ahead.
person's
It's like a
gonna
game.
say, and then
Okay,
hold it
so
See
up.
if I can guess.
that's hilarious. She's so funny, and she turns everything into a game. So the first thing that it's a unique ism about me is my nails.
I mean,
So
actually, I love your nails.
so
If
I
anyone's
all
not watching the YouTube of this, you need to jump over to YouTube to see Dez's nails.
Yeah, so these ones are not even as extra as they, can be, but they've got
Yeah.
glitter and they've got like some, little diamonds on it and stuff. But it's part of my personality. Like I've had nails for the longest time. I have little hands and they just make them feel like they're the right proportion when I have them. And it's very much of an expression of just art. And I love that. So when I go to someone and now because I do work in a corporate environment and I usually keep them very tempered, but because we're in virtual land, you can be more expressive because nobody's like, they're really paying attention to my face on a video, not like sitting next to me in a meeting. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you could go ahead and put, 82 diamonds on there if you want to.
Love
Um,
it.
so it's just something fun about me. But I think the second thing that I embrace about myself, and especially during this season, is just compassion. I really do have compassion for. She wrote that
I
down.
did.
Oh my gosh.
I did.
Jean
Um,
Marie
I
goes
said empathy.
yeah. I do feel it's
I probably didn't spell it right.
that's okay.
Just kidding.
I knew what you meant.
I know.
But yeah, that compassion and empathy is a superpower. Every personality test I take, it's something that's there. I think it's a reason why I'm able to connect with people well, and just understand where they're coming from and maybe the hardships that they've gone through, and I appreciate that about myself, and I'm glad that I can do that, and I'm proud of it. So
Yeah, that's cool. So I put that you're a nerd.
oh yeah, I am.
She loves, I mean, in a, she in the way of like she loves graphs and
I,
charts
I
and
do.
words with friends and in an endearing way. And then empathy,
Aw.
because you're an empath. Yeah, because that's very much you. So I would say, she said one thing. We're like,
Yeah, I know.
all the
I
things. No, I'm
know.
just kidding. The one thing, the thing I love about myself is that I embarrass myself on a regular basis. And to me, it's just super fun. I'm fun
She's
Oh,
yeah.
on a regular basis.
I was gonna say
like
fun.
almost every day. I just do things all the time. I drove today. I went all the way to the grocery store to transfer money from one account to another, left my card at home. Like I just like every day I mess up. I have waved this unicorn at some stranger thinking it was my girlfriend Donna one time. Met the woman, pulled her over, told her about the podcast, gave her, told her about the tasting room at the vineyard and everything, made a new friend. Like I'm constantly doing stupid things.
But you
and I
always
love it.
but you
I
turn
don't
them
mean to do it,
but you
I'm
turn them
just
into like
"Oh."
awesome moments and opportunities.
Yeah, to me it's just like the roller
You're creating
coaster ride.
adventures every day,
Yeah.
it sounds
Yeah.
like.
She's just a walking adventure.
That's your
I
new
am.
tagline.
And she loves me anyway.
I do.
And
I
so
really
does
do.
Wesley. He
Oh
just
my
goes,
gosh.
"Oh, good Lord.
That's
Nice."
amazing.
Of course, that's you. So
I love it.
Oh, I cannot thank you both enough for being on the show today, for sharing your stories and sharing how you're helping women just become more alive and be more confident in themselves. It's so huge and important work. So thank you so much.
Thank
you
you
are
for
so
having
welcome.
us
Yes,
here. You're
yes,
one
it's
of
such
our
a
favorite
blessing.
people.
Yes.
I probably comment and everything on your stories so much that you're like, is she stalking me? She
No.
literally does emojis on all my things.
I will take it all. I love it.
Because
Please don't stop.
we just enjoy your message and what you're doing for the world, and so it's an honor. It really is an honor for us to be on your show, and we've learned a lot from you, being connected with brand builders, and you've been a true inspiration to us.